Hello everyone, this is Kenny Lawler with magazine yEtU, and we are here in the city of Miami, Florida at Dr. Martin Luther King Memorial Park. Here we have featured a statue in this park dedicated to the life, the accomplishments, and the legacy of a civil rights era icon. So today we're going to take a trip to another place, and it's called the historic Hampton House. There, you're going to find different exhibits, art, as well as details and history about many people in African American history, including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Today, we're going to focus only on Dr. Martin Luther King, but later on, we'll probably give you more. Let's go ahead and take a trip there.
So good afternoon and welcome to the historic Hampton House. My name is Raphaelia Oliver. I'm the museum educator here. I generally work with the students and with the kids, the young kids that come in, but we are so happy to have you with us today. A brief history about the historic Hampton House. It was started in 1954. It was owned by 4 gentlemen from up north. It was actually sold to a Jewish couple and was owned by a Mr. and Mrs. Markowitz from when it was sold from about 1958, around that time, to the time that the Hampton House closed, which was in 1976. Hampton House became a popular spot for many of our celebrities and blacks to come to because they could not stay over on Miami Beach due to segregation. Of course, you know that was during the Jim Crow era. And because of that, many would come here, as well as other hotels, motels in Overtown and a few in Liberty City. Those were the black areas in Miami. Segregation, as we all know, meant that we couldn't stay where we wanted to stay. People of color had to go certain places. And Miami Beach at that time was known as what's called a sundown town. So the historic Hampton House was a Green Book motel. The Green Book was actually started by a gentleman named Victor Green. He was a postal worker in Chicago, Illinois. And he elicited the help of many other postal workers around the country, blacks, that would list the businesses that were safe for people of color to go to. Hotels, hair salons, gas stations, restaurants, that type of thing. And we have you can get an actual book on Amazon, but it shows by state and the cities within those states that it was safe for people of color to stay. So that's how the Hampton House got its start. It was originally called Booker Terrace Motel and Villas. Booker Terrace name is a take on Booker T. Washington. The Markowitzes held a contest in the local paper, which was the Miami Herald at that time, to come up with a different name since they had taken over and wanted to completely renovate. And the name that was chosen was called the Hampton House. And it's called the Hampton House because that also is a take on Booker T. Washington, because he attended Hampton Institute, which is now Hampton University. So we're going to be walking and looking at different things during our tour. So if you're ready, we can start in the lobby. So we are.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, I'm Raphaelia.
My name is Kenny, magazine yEtU, and I'm glad to be on this tour with you today.
Thank you so much for visiting the historic Hampton House. We are currently a part of what was called Art Miami and part of Art Basel. So you may see some different artifacts and exhibits and artwork that are not normally here at the Hampton House. And it will be here until January 22nd when these exhibits will be closed down.
Okay. And how could a person take a look online to see the historic Hampton House?
We are on Instagram as well as Facebook. If you go to Historic Hampton House Official, you should be able to pick it up there. We also, I'll give you the card of our brand manager. His name was Edwin Shepard, although he's not here today. He can give you all the details of all of the social media and all of that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Okay. Any specific questions you have, or should I just talk?
Ashley can tell us, and I am curious to know about one guest that you may have had here, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes, we absolutely did have Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. here. I will be showing you the space that he was in. I say the space that he was in because basically the Hampton House at one point was going to be torn down. It closed in 1976, and the reason it closed down had to do with desegregation when those hotels and places that we could not go in the past, once desegregation started, they were able to go. So business actually fell off here and ended up closing down. So the place did fall into disrepair. It was about to be torn down, very dilapidated, overgrown. A lot of things happened in the area. You know, in the 80s was the cocaine cowboy era, the 90s, the crack era. So the place did fall into disrepair. It was about to be torn down, but it was saved by, this picture, this lady, her name is Dr. Enid Pinckney on the wall there.
Okay.
And at the time, she was 69 years old when she started her crusade. But, and I think the county wouldn't have been such a good look to have this little old black lady trying to stand in front of the wrecking ball. So the county, I think, had the feeling they could kind of outweigh her, you know, and she was gonna probably die soon type thing. She's 92 years old. She's still with us. She still comes by. She's a very vibrant 92. But it was because of her. She spearheaded saving the Hampton House from being torn down. And so everything that you see is basically replicated, except for the floating stairs on each side, and the black railing, and this emblem. This is the original flooring, and this emblem. All of those are from the original 1954 building.
Nice.
Yes, but everything else is replicated. It was put back as close as possible, but it's not exact. So Dr. King's space is still here. We maintain a room that he lived in, but it's not exactly like it was at that time. Okay. We also maintain another room, the Muhammad Ali room. So those are the only two that we maintain to show as part of the museum. However, the motel used to have 50 rooms, and it was, you know, quite active, quite vibrant, and really a lot of history here at the Hampton House.
Okay. And what can we do to actually help keep the Hampton House tradition alive? Well,
one of the things that we have done is we received national status from Washington, D.C. as a historic building. So, and that occurred, it's 2024 now, in 2023. So we will be, the building will not be torn down. We do accept donations. We have a foundation. We have a board of directors. We do raise money. We have events here at the Hampton House. We do rent out the space. We do have we call it currently the multi-purpose room. We also have our cafe that used to be a 24, 7-day-a-week diner. We rent that space out for small meetings, more intimate events. And then we have a courtyard with the fountain, and then we do sometimes have events outside. Of course, you're in Florida, depending on weather, and the heat and all of that.
Okay.
Like I said, we're currently participating in Art Basel, which is over, but our exhibits are still here until the 22nd of this month. So this item that you see here is part of Art Basel. It's by an artist named Nick Cave.
Okay.
And then, so as we walk around, you'll see some exhibits as well that are part of Art Basel.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, so we are going to get started, and we'll be moving around, so we'll be walking as I talk.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. I see you have a picture here.
Yes, this is a picture of Dr. Martin Luther King along with some other gentlemen that was taken here at the Hampton House. I don't know the exact year. However, it was taken in our cafe. That is one very popular spot here at the Hampton House, and it has been for many years. The cafe used to be a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, full-service diner where you could come in at any time of the day or night and get breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And we will be seeing that room shortly as we do our tour. But this was one of the pictures that was taken there, and as well we'll be seeing Dr. Martin Luther King's room and his space that he occupied when he was here at the Hampton House.
Sounds great. I love it. Oh, okay. So I see we're in another place now. What is this place that we're at?
Yes, this is the room and the space that was occupied by Dr. Martin Luther King when he stayed at the historic Hampton House. We'll be able to go in if you would like, of course. We generally keep his voice playing. I always just get a certain, energy when I walk in his room. And this is where he stayed. One of the reasons he would stay in this particular area was that there is a door inside that would lead out to where a car was always waiting for him. This was for safety and security. And if for whatever reason he needed to get away quickly, there was access and he had the ability to do that. His room is a one-bedroom. One of the things about the historic Hampton House is all of the rooms actually had their own individual bathrooms and a little kitchenette, which back at that time was somewhat unusual because I guess you had more of a boarding house style in many of the hotels and motels, and where the bathroom was actually at the end of the hallway. But in this instance, there was a bathroom in each room and a kitchenette, which was a little bit ahead of its time back then. Of course, it's nothing now. So we're welcome to go in if you would like, and if you can just take a look. Or you can see through this window the bathroom and that type of thing.
Now I see there's a plaque on the wall here. It has some interesting facts on there.
Yes, this basically tells us that he was one of the most notable and historic visitors here at the Hampton House, of course, very prominent civil rights leader, as everybody knows. And he would also visit during various conferences. In 1960, CORE sponsored an event here in which Reverend King was doing his early version of the I Have a Dream speech, not the one that was actually done in Washington, but of course, many times things start years before they actually come to fruition. And so he definitely was here working out and working on many things that happened during the civil rights movement. One picture that we do have of him inside of the room is a picture of him in the pool here at the Hampton House. And I do believe that's really about the only time I've ever seen him not in a suit, able to maybe relax and take some of that weight off of him that was with him almost every day of his life, I guess. So that is one thing. And one thing we also know, Dr. King did come here did a press conference here at the Hampton House talking about the minimum wage for people of color. At that time, it was $1.25 an hour. And he did focus on blacks as well as many of the Cubans that were coming into Miami at that time. So this is the space that he occupied when he was here, and just a historic place, and we were just so happy to be a part of that history.
Okay, sounds good. Let's take a closer look.
This was Dr. King's room and his space as he stayed here at the Hampton House.
Okay, so we're in the room here.
Yes, this was Dr. King's room. It's just a normal, I guess, looking motel room. However, the significance is just based on the man that was here and what he meant to so many people here, people of color here in the United States. This was one of the places this was the place that I guess, I don't know if it was the only place, but one of the places that he would stay when he would come here. There's a picture of him above the bed, and I think this was a place where he could feel comfortable and just relax when he was here. Okay. There's some pictures here also of him in the cafe here at the Hampton House, and the press conference that I mentioned that he came here to discuss the minimum wage here in the here in Miami particularly. Okay. I don't know if you have any specific questions you would like to ask.
No, I
Okay.
don't. It's like you said something about he was able to kind of relax and.
Okay, and so this picture shows him in the pool in swimming trunks, and I was saying I don't think I've ever seen him not in a suit and tie, and so I just feel like this was a place where he felt like he could relax, at least for a short time before he delved into other things.
Okay. Okay, so this would be like a closet area and a restroom?
Yes, this is the closet area. This is the individual restroom, tub, everything here. And, you know, everything back then was a little smaller than it is now. So, but it's relative to the time. You know, a lot of the tile and the pink and blue, many people come through and say, oh, my mother still has this, or my grandparents had that. So that is very much the way it was back then.
Okay, so what do we have here?
All right, this is actually a postcard that was used back in the 50s and 60s. It's a picture of the pool area here at the Hampton House. Up in the right corner is we call it the multi-purpose room, but that was a nightclub. You see the gentlemen dressed in their suits, the women in their nice dresses, and on the left side is the entrance to the Hampton House. And as you can see, it was a very vibrant and active place here, and a lot of activity going on most of the time. This right here is actually like a little, I guess you could call it a little makeup bag or whatever that was the Hampton House had back in the day. We are actually in the process of restoring and replicating to sell in our gift shop, as well as a keepsake, I guess people could take with them. All right. And behind you is our actual logo. It is a prop that was done from the play One Night in Miami, and it was donated to us after the play ended its run over on Miami Beach. But this was the actual signage that was out in front of the Hampton House. This is an actual replica of it.
Let's take a look at that.
Sure.
Okay, so this is the sign here, Hampton House Motel and Villas.
Yes, this is a replica of the original signage that was out in front of the Hampton House. Currently, we are the historic Hampton House, so that would not appear on this. But this signage was actually donated to us from the play One Night in Miami after it had done its run over on Miami Beach. And this is exactly what was out front originally in 1961.
Okay. Okay, so I see a pretty nice painting here.
Yes, this is a picture of Sammy Davis Jr. with Dr. Martin Luther King. I am not 100% sure where this picture was taken. However, because these two gentlemen definitely were here at the Hampton house and somebody got them together, we were happy to be able to put this up as well. It looked like they're having a really good laugh about something. So I think this is a great picture.
Okay, here we're going to enter into seeing artwork that's been done by Eduardo Cobra, who is a Brazilian artist. And these pictures have been done specifically for the Hampton House and his participation and our participation in Art Basel this year. And here you do see a picture of Dr. King that was done commemorating the March on Washington in Washington, D.C.
Okay, so this is the picture here.
Yes, this is the March on Washington. You see Dr. King. These pictures and others in this room have been done by Eduardo Cobra, who is a Brazilian artist who was actually here our opening night, and this is his homage and recognition of the importance of Dr. King.
Okay, so I see there's a little emblem here. It says March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, August 28, 1963.
Yes, and this picture, you know, is quite famous, but however, Eduardo Cobra has put his own spin on this and many other pictures as well that are here.
Okay. And I see from some of the other pictures on the wall, there's kind of trademark diamond shapes and colors.
And the colors, I think, is really his trademark. But yes, he does use the geometric shapes a lot in his artwork, as you can see. This one of Michael Jackson, the young Jackson, 5 type Jackson, and then the older Michael Jackson, and the different artwork that's here. That's his trademark, the colors and the shapes.
So we did our coverage today here at Magazine yEtU, the historic Hampton House, and we've been on this tour learning about an iconic leader in the civil rights era, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And we've seen some different displays and exhibits, as well as artwork. Can you tell me, in your own words, what does Dr. Martin Luther King Day mean to you?
Dr. Martin Luther King Day means history, it means memory, it allows us to keep his memory alive, his ideals and the things that were so important then as well as now. And to always know that these things are so important and to teach them to our children as well. It's just that we never forget. And it's my hope that everybody that sees your film and your expression of your the expression of love and that we have for Dr. King, never forget what it means. And everybody has a different meaning, something different to everybody. But it is my hope that we just never forget, because if we forget, like the saying is, you're bound to repeat some of those things of the past.
And for those out there who are watching, if you would like to go online to the website of the historic Hampton House, or on the social media, I think you mentioned Facebook.
Yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And we are very much available, and we would welcome your input as well as you visiting the historic Hampton House as well.
Okay, so make sure you come down and support this historic landmark.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
And thank you.
You're welcome.